155 of 400 Native American indigenous cultures have more than 2 sexes.
So
That is not true.
That's not true.
Yeah, there's only been males and females, even in indigenous populations.
That's
So
not true.
no individual has ever produced something other than a sperm
No,
or an ovum.
society has more roles.
Well, there's
a different question.
social
We have
roles.
boogie
this is
in
key. This is
Indonesia.
key.
Again, that's
This is really key.
That's a definitional
Society
thing.
has
You
more
said, you said
roles.
Sexes. You
Yeah,
said
sexes and roles are different questions.
Yeah, well, they have
We're talking about biological
well,
sexes,
people who want to live
not
in a
social
different
roles.
role.
Yeah, well, travesti
Yeah.
in Brazil.
That's,
No, it's
a
not
role
different.
is not a sex. A
Yeah,
role is not a gender.
sex. We need
know,
to
if
be
you look at
very,
the-
These are gender roles.
yeah, we need to be
Yes.
very
Yeah.
precise
And this
about
is
the
the
words.
problem I have with gender ideology, is it takes people who stereotypically perform certain gender roles, people who are attracted to certain gender roles, and it says, well, based on your role, you are that gender. So now you can't have a masculine girl anymore. Now her gender is going to be boy. And what follows from that is, oh, now we need to medicalize this girl.
Okay, so but you do not have a problem that there are more gender roles.
No, roles, not at all. I started off this conversation by saying, like for yourself, nail polish. If you want to have long hair, if you like the color pink, great. If you want to sit in the kitchen and bake cookies all day, wonderful. Please invite me over. I'd like to eat some cookies.
And if I want to be called a woman,
Well, you can want to be called a woman, but there's still reality in the world.
what does it
And
mean?
what the word woman needs to have a proper definition. Otherwise, all hell breaks loose in society like we're seeing. And a woman is an adult human female, and a female is someone who does or did or will or would, if not for some genetic or developmental abnormality, produce eggs. That's what a woman is. You're never going to produce eggs. You don't have any structure to produce eggs. So I'm sorry, but you just can't be a woman. It's not a feeling.
And you should do, so I personally would say I don't care. I don't know if someone else wants to be called a woman. If
But you know who does care?
If that person wants to be called, I don't know, Maria.
You know who does
whatever.
care, though?
It's not.
Women care.
How do you know? You're a man.
Because I talk to them all the time. You know who cares?
I know a lot of women who don't.
Because
care.
a lot of women don't want men coming into their washrooms. They don't want men coming into their sports. They don't want men taking their scholarships for sports.
What about
They don't want
prisons?
men injuring them in sports. They don't want crazy male rapists coming into their prisons, where they're literally stuck in a cage with a rapist. And this is literally happening in North America and in England, and I'm sure some other countries as well.
UK.
Because not everyone is a nice guy like you. There are some bad dudes out there. And as soon as you say any dude can be a woman, you open it up for any bad dude to be a woman and take advantage of the system.
So if you would say,
And
I
besides,
don't know,
women,
in-
they
in-
shouldn't have you in their space either, because it's going to make some of them uncomfortable. It's not what some women think. Women have to have their sex protected as a class, because it would be very creepy for you to walk into a washroom behind my 12-year-old daughter. She wouldn't like it. You would make her uncomfortable. You'd make all the
I have-
12-year-old girls uncomfortable.
no ambition to do that.
That's great.
Um,
Then don't justify it for other men.
No. Well, I know women, you know women. Well, we're talking, I don't know. How can you talk about what women want? I can do the same. But different topic. But
You just
so
admitted
no-
that a 12-year-old girl isn't going to like a man walking into the washroom with her. How do you think she's going to feel? Why don't you care about the 12-year-old girl? Why are you more worried about the feelings of this mentally ill man?
I definitely would if that girl doesn't want it, then for sure. But it's a different.
But not all men
it's-
respect
no,
that
but it's a
wish.
different. Okay, but if we take, for example, deal with the toilets and the prisons and the saunas. If you then have a problem, why you have your problem with someone who wants to be called a woman?
Because I like living in a society where there is objective reality and truth. And I'm not going to walk around in a society where we're lying and saying, oh yeah, that's a woman. This is the same story as the Emperor's New Clothes, where the man walked around naked and everyone had to go along with it. It's no different. We're affirming a delusion, and it is not healthy to live in a society where we affirm delusions and we affirm falsities as truths.
And this is dangerous for what?
Yeah,
What
why
kind
is
of-
this
why-
dangerous?
for what?
Really? Are we going to play this game?
Well, help them out.
What
Help
did
them.
we just,
Help them
what did we just
understand.
talk about 3 minutes ago? Rapists are going into women's
we were
prisons.
talking, but I was saying,
Men are taking over women's sports.
I was saying, if we have their clear rules, or we have, I don't know, a third, whatever, where people who are trans can go into separate prisons, if we deal for that, then I still don't get where is exactly the problem.
Great question. So the question was, what if we have a third category where men who identify as trans can go into a separate prison?
Great question.
Do you know what those men who identify as trans would say to that? They'd say you're a bigot. They'd say you're now saying that they're not real women because they can't go in the prison with the real women, and how dare you? They don't want that. They just want to be called women and acknowledged as women.
Because they can have access to women's spaces.
Yes. And again,
Do you
we
agree-
live in a
do you agree
society
with
where
that?
there are some bad people and mentally ill people and dangerous people, and you can't just open up the women's sex category and say, we're open for anyone who wants to call themselves one. It's not safe.
Do you agree with him?
They are mentally ill people, yeah, all over, but most of them are men, yeah.
Most of the violent ones are men. We know this, statistically speaking. Most violent crimes are committed by males. Most women in prison are not in prison for violent crimes. Most men in prison are in prison for violent crimes. Where I'm from, in British Columbia, there's a man named Adam Lebukin. You can look this up. You can check out the video later on his YouTube channel. This is Professor Peter Boghossian. But this man, Adam Lebukin, raped a 3-month-old child, and he drowned, I think it's a 2-year-old, I might be wrong on that, but a toddler, very young. The 3-month-old required reconstructive surgery after this rape. After these crimes, after this murder of a child and a rape of a 3-month-old, this man then identified as a woman. The British Columbia government paid for him to get breast implants, and they put him in the prison, the Fraser Valley Penitentiary, with women in British Columbia,
Yeah,
where he has, of course, already assaulted a woman. So this is an extreme story.
yeah, it's a
This is what happens as soon as you open up the class of women to men, because of course you're going to have people take advantage of it.
Yes, that can happen. But it happens all the time. Men are all the time trying to rape women in every single way.
But now you're trying to justify
No,
it.
Let's not give them free
but
access.
this is
Let's not give
Let's
them
not
free
make it
access.
easier for them to get the fox in the hen house.